All in.
So right now I am all in, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, poker is a hell of a lot crazier when you are going all in with money that you might need to pay rent, that you might need to buy groceries with. But that is exactly the position I found myself in because I quit my job to try to become a professional poker player full time. No backup plan, no safety net, no more paychecks coming in. This is going to be a crazy journey, and we're going to document it all right here on this YouTube channel. Let's go and see what happens. All right, guys, good morning from beautiful Austin, Texas. This is day one, unemployed, day one, trying to survive off of poker money. We're heading over to TCH Austin right now. At the time I'm recording this, the lodge is actually still closed. We just got news they're gonna be opening up in the next couple weeks, so that is great for the Austin poker community, but for the poker community overall. But for now, we kind of have the main two options between TCH Austin and Shuffle. But right now, the WSOP series is actually over at TCH Austin right now, which hopefully means lots of people, lots of action, lots of money in the room. So we're headed over to TCH Austin right now. So let's go. So we sit down at the 1-2 table, 500 cap, you know, double board, bomb pots, straddles, all that. We sit down and our very first hand is going to be pocket fives. Now, we're going to get in on this one. We're going to totally whiff the flop. We're just going to end up folding, but we have now played our first ever hand as a professional poker player. Now, I don't know, are you a professional poker player after you play your first hand? Once you start making money? Is it not until you buy the hoodie and the sunglasses? I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know down in the comments below, but I feel like a professional poker player now. All right, so now we're getting settled in a little bit. We made the camera angle a little bit prettier, and we get a very pretty hand as well. The ace-king suited in middle position. We're going to raise it up over a limp, and we're going to go super multi-way to this flop. This is a very, very Texas game, but guess what? We're just going to have to check and then fold after we absolutely whiff, but at least we're getting some good cards to start the day. Hopefully that's a good omen for the rest of this journey. So we definitely need to talk about bomb pots. Since I'm going to be playing 99% of my volume in Texas, bomb pots are going to be a very, very big thing. And luckily, I think I'm pretty good at bomb pots, but we're going to find out. You know, these Texas games, they play a bomb pot every single orbit, and you can't sit them out. You know, you can't run away from them because you're paying time. So if you're sitting them out, you're literally giving money away because they take a lot of time, and they're a very, very big thing. Now, in this hand, you can see I actually have a pair on the top board and I have trips on the bottom board. But when somebody bets pot into me, I think this is actually a very, very simple decision I have here. You're going to see me in real time snap fold. You're going to see me fold very, very quickly. And one reason is I just have so many people behind me. But the second reason is my hand is just not that strong. I have trips with almost no way to improve on the bottom. You know, I have like one overcard to the 6. If somebody already has a boat or even just an ace with a better kicker, I'm, you know, drawing very, very slim. And no matter what, I'm playing for half the pot with a ton of people left to act behind me. This is just a fold. People play these hands either way too tight or way too crazy. So when this guy pots, you know, he's got one of these boards locked up. And, you know, maybe I'm chopping against him, but again, I'm putting in money to not really chop a lot of money, but then somebody else has probably scooped me over there. This is just a fold. Make sure you're playing the bomb pots well if you're going to be playing in Texas games. All right, finally, let's get to some Texas Hold'em in Texas. We have ace-10 offsuit in the big blind. The button decides to make it $10. The small blind is going to call, and I am going to complete as well. Now, again, if the pre-flop police want to tell me that this is a fold, hey, that's fine, maybe. But I think in a time-raked game, it's probably not that bad. We end up going 4 ways to the flop. Small blind checks, I check. EP is actually going to bet $20 here on the 10-10-3 flop. We flop 3 of a kind, and somebody bets into us. The small blind calls, it's back on us, and I decide to make it $50. I think these paired boards can be really, really tricky when you have value because, like, yeah, that guy bet into 4 people, but he bet pretty small. Maybe he's just trying to feel things out. You know, there's also a caller as well, so I think I need to raise. You know, I think it's just very, very simple. Like, I have good hand, I'm gonna put more money in. But you know, what are we trying to target? I think if we raise small, we'll maybe still get called by some random pairs. Maybe, you know, jacks, 9s, 10s, 8s, 7s. And if he does have some kind of 10 or full house or whatever, obviously he's gonna put some more money in for us as well. Maybe even, you know, in a bad spot for us. So I think we just need to raise, and I think the small raise size completes a lot of what we're trying to do here.
Unfortunately, even to our very small size, the EP is still going to fold, but the small blind actually makes the call. So we're going to a turn here, 160 bucks in the pot now, and it is going to be the ace of hearts. Small blind is going to check to us. Now, I actually don't love this card, even though it does give us a full house. Obviously, it's a pretty scary card. Now, I decided to bet 100 bucks here, and I really do not like this bet size. I think if he did call with some kind of like overcard or something like that, he possibly could have hit the ace. And if he did hit the ace, we want to go a lot bigger because we can probably get a lot of value from an ace. But, you know, I do still think his most likely hands are going to be a lot of those pairs. Like I said, maybe jacks, best case scenario, 7, 8, 9, something like that. And the ace is a very, very bad card for those. So in that instance, we would want to even size down. So I think 100 bucks is kind of this like weird middle size that doesn't accomplish really either of our goals. But still, we obviously have a very strong hand. We need to bet. We need to put more money in. But unfortunately, he's just going to fold. We do take down a pretty nice sized pot here to start off the day, and I'm never going to complain about that. All right, boys, time for a fun one. We look down at Jack 10 suited, very, very pretty hand, and we have under the gun raising it up to 10 bucks, plus one making the call, and I decided to make it $40. Now, in retrospect, this does look a little bit small, can probably go a little bit bigger, but the funny thing here is that under the gun, earlier, he had raised to $25, and, you know, a shocker, he had pocket aces there. So now this time he decides to make it only 10. I'm definitely going to be 3-betting. Best case scenario, he's going to fold. We're going to have some dead money in there. And worst case scenario, we're just going to be playing a 3-bet pot in position against, you know, a weak range. If he's going crazy with his actually strong hands and then, you know, raising his worst hands to a much smaller size. But now we actually get called by the small blind, interestingly enough, and under the gun and under the gun plus one both fold. So we are now going heads up to the flop, and this is really a perfect spot because what you need to know about the small blind is he was the biggest action player at the table, super nice guy, super fun to play with, but this guy was seeing all 5 cards every single time. Sometimes he had a made hand, sometimes he had a draw, sometimes he had nothing at all, but this guy was in there, he was battling, you know, he was playing very, very crazy, and this gets even better when the flop comes out Jack 10-3. I flop top 2, absolutely dream spot. He checks it over to me blind. I'm going to bet 30 bucks, and we pretty much get snap raised by him. He's going to raise it up to 75, and then it's back on me, and I have a decision point here. You know, I definitely could raise, but there's definitely a ton of draws out there. There's a ton of, you know, scary turns for me, scary turns for him, so maybe I do want to raise it up here and avoid some of those disastrous turns that are going to, you know, stop me from getting paid. But also, this guy, like I said, he is a blaster. I don't want to scare him off. I don't want to do anything too crazy. I want to allow him to continue going nuts because there's really almost no turn that I'm scared of because, like I said, this guy has been blasting off sometimes with no pair in these hands. So I just decided to make the call, and let's see a turn. And after the dealer rakes in the money here, we're getting to the turn that is going to be the 8 of diamonds. Yeah, some straights come in, but overall, at least the flush, the front door flush draw doesn't come in. He instantly leads out for $200, and I got about 450 left, so, you know, it's an extra 250 if I want to go all in. I'm deciding a little bit between all in and call here, but I eventually am just going to decide on all in. You know, he has so many hands that he's just never folding, especially for the small amount that I have left. I really think he would play ace jack, king jack, queen jack this way. I think he would play straight draws this way, flush draws this way. So many hands that we have in bad shape. So we decided to put it all in. He pretty much snap calls. He has to go twice. He's a nice guy. We're going to do whatever he wants. And we get, you know, blanks on both boards. He mucks his cards, so we never know what he had, but it doesn't really matter too much because we are raking in an absolutely monstrous pot. My all-in ended up being $438 on the river. So very, very good start to my professional career right here. And we also get the very, very nice shot of this huge pot getting pushed our way. So we always love to see that. Hopefully plenty more of that to come. Make sure you take care of the dealer, and let's keep this thing going. Got a little bomb pot action here on this one. Ace Jack 10-10, very pretty hand. Honestly, I'm deciding how much bomb pots I want to leave into these videos. I don't really think they're that great of content most of the time, but we do flop top set on the bottom board here, which is obviously good. We're going to bet small $25 into the pot of 45. We're trying to get as many people to call as we can because obviously we have a monster hand on the bottom board, nothing on the top board. We're going to be chopping up hopefully as many people's money as we can. So that's why we bet small. We only get called by 2 people, which isn't great, and it's extra not great right when the flush comes in on the bottom board. Absolute disaster. So we're just gonna have to check because we have a pair and a gut shot with not even all of our clean gut shot outs on the top board. And yeah, the flush obviously comes in on the bottom. When you're playing a bomb pot 9 ways, somebody's gonna have some really strong hands. So I check, somebody bets pot, the other guy calls, and it's gonna get back to us, and unfortunately we're just gonna have to fold. Again, if you play smart, sound poker in these bomb pots, it's gonna lead to a lot of frustrating hands, a lot of boring hands, but eventually you're gonna get paid in some big ways. Obviously I'm upset, tilted, whatever, to flop top set on the bottom board and just have to fold a turn, but that's how it goes sometimes. So this is another fun one where we're gonna be picking up the ace jack suited, another very pretty hand. +2 is gonna make it 25. Now he's like a reg, like a younger looking guy talking strategy at the table, you know, kind of seems like he knows what he's doing. I'm not saying he's a crusher or super good player by any means, but I'm just going to make the call here. I would rather allow in other people who are just much more likely to be giving away their money or, you know, playing hands that I dominate rather than trying to 3-bet this guy kind of early position versus early position, get into this whole thing. I think this hand is just a call, but unfortunately everyone folds. So we do go heads up to a flop. Flop going to be jack 8-6. So we flop very nicely here, obviously, but you know, he made it big. He made it $25 over a $5 straddle where, you know, sometimes people are making it 15, 20, whatever. 25 definitely on the bigger size, so he could definitely have some strong hands here, you know, kings, queens, aces, whatever, but when he does only bet $25 on the flop, I think that's kind of a small size. I don't really think that's going to be, you know, his super value, super strong hands. I don't think that's going to be your aces, kings, queens, whatever, because if he has those hands, I think he's going to be going bigger, trying to stack, you know, a hand like mine, an ace jack, a king jack. So when he does bet the 25, I just decide to make the call. If he wants to keep bluffing or keep going, you know, with his hands like ace king or you know, even under pairs like 10s, 9s, whatever, I'm gonna let him keep going, and I don't want to scare him off just yet. And we go to the turn, which is the ace of spades. Great turn for us. Obviously we turn top 2 pair, but also now we're desperately hoping that he has that ace king. He could have turned you know, some combo draws. He could have, there's a lot of good stuff he could have turned, so I think he's going to keep betting a lot, but he actually checks. So I do think that's going to remove a lot of that good stuff, the ace kings, the combo draws, stuff like that. So I just decided to bet 50 bucks. Now again, I think my bet sizing's off a little bit here. I think if we are trying to target those hands like, I don't know, gut shots or under pairs to the jack or whatever, we need to go a little bit smaller. But whatever, we decided to bet 50. He's gonna tank for a while. He's thinking and thinking and thinking. Eventually he is going to make the call for the 50 bucks. So we are going to the river. Obviously he must have some kind of showdown value, some kind of hand that he likes. Again, maybe we did get floated by 7s, 9s, 10s, something like that. King of clubs on the river. So again, combo draws, you know, probably bricked out. Maybe he randomly has, you know, a Broadway or something like that, but we're not going to be scared of anything like that. We're going to keep betting for value. But again, I still don't think he has those super strong hands. So I still do want to size down a little bit. Maybe we can get called by a jack, I think would maybe make some sense. A weak jack, like queen jack, jack 10, something like that. So I decided to bet 80 bucks, and he's pretty much going to snap fold, and he's going to ask me, oh, what would you have done on the turn? Or, oh, I thought about jamming it on the turn or whatever. He tells me he had 6-7 of spades. He turned the combo draw, and that's when he decided to slow down. That's when he decided to check. I feel like that is a disgusting bad beat for me. I feel like this pot should have gotten way bigger than it was. I feel like that ace of spades was a great turn card for him to keep bluffing, but whatever. Unfortunately, we don't, you know, win a huge pot here, but we still win a nice one. And like I said, always going to be happy about that. Last little hand I wanted to throw in here. We're going to throw in $15 with the 6-7 of clubs. It's straddle to 5. We're under the gun. We make it 15, and we are going to get 2 callers. Straddle's going to complete. The cutoff, I believe, is the other caller as well. We're going to go to a flop that, you know, not good for us. Ace, jack 3 with a flush draw, multi-way. I'm not going to be bluffing here. It checks around. We go to the turn, the 10 of hearts. Everyone's going to be checking again. Very quick hand. We get the king of diamonds on the river, so an absolutely terrible board for us, but the straddle checks again. I decide to bet 20 bucks. If everybody is on their phones, not paying attention, not looking interested, I'm going to bet 20, and they both just snap fold. The straddle actually told me that he folded ace jack. He was scared of the flush draw. He was scared of the, you know, 4-liner to the straight. So in Texas, when you're paying time, you know, you're always against the rake. You need to be battling for these pots. Not that I did anything insane here, but especially in live poker, you can look around and see if the other players look interested in the pot, look like they're going to be even, you know, battling, defending, whatever. I know people say you can't bluff at small stakes and, you know, everybody calls, whatever, but I just got a guy to fold 2 pair in a single raise spot where it checked all the way down to the river and I bet tiny. I wish I would have bet a little bit bigger, but again, you can bluff, you can battle for hands, and you need to, especially in these games where you can clearly tell no one is interested in these pots. We did decide to rack up after that one. Just got done with a cross-country drive from Miami to Texas. So, you know, short sessions, trying to get our feet underneath us, trying to just get into the Texas poker world. We were in for 500, out for $12.93, good for a $793 win on the day. Great start to the Texas poker world. Great start to the professional poker career. Thank you guys for watching this video, and hopefully I see you guys soon. Peace.